It began on a typical day, the type of day that fans believed would be uneventful in the Brown household. Cameras were rolling, smiles were manufactured, and all believed the drama had dissipated. But behind the scenes, something was brewing. Something no one could anticipate. A secret ceremony, a ring, and a secret that would create shockwaves in every area of the Sister Wives universe. Kody Brown, the man who used to swear off new marriages, had wed again in secret. No fanfare, no cameras, no blessings, but a few witnesses and a whispered vow miles from Flagstaff. As fans argued among themselves about replays, a new act was already underway, one that would relight all he'd tried to extinguish. Robyn had always been the one to keep his world intact, the faithful wife, the peacemaker, the emotional center. But when she learned, things fell apart. The camera captured her face before she could conceal it. Shock, rage, betrayal. She was not just losing control of the narrative, she was losing control of him. The irony? This marriage shouldn't have happened. For all the vows, for all the tears, for all the never-agains, Kody had gone and rewritten his own script. And as the reality began to seep out, Robyn's soothing voice sharpened. The woman who once preached harmony was now shattering on screen, revealing the cracks she'd worked so hard to keep under wraps for years. This was not another rumor from the Brown family. This was when the whole house of cards started to crumble, live, raw, and unedited. And when Robyn's voice shook, only one question lingered in the air. Why would he do this now? And who is the new wife? When the news escaped, the buzz on set changed. Everyone sensed it. That thick silence that precedes a storm. The team stood motionless, not knowing if they should continue taping. Robyn's hands shook as she attempted to keep her composure, but she was unsuccessful. The secret was now out. Kody Brown had married behind the cameras in secret, and for the first time ever, the woman who made control her brand lost it entirely. "Are you kidding me?" she breathed, struggling to get it together. But her whisper broke into rage. "After all I've done for him? After everyone walked away, I was the only one remaining." The cameras didn't shift. Her breakdown wasn't practiced, wasn't scripted. It was raw, ugly, and heart-wrenching. Fans would go on to claim they'd never seen her this way. While he stood aside, arms crossed, impassive. His face told it all, no guilt, no remorse, but defiance. This was a man who'd finally made a choice without explaining himself, without apologizing, and without warning. And that silence, that unwavering calm, also maddened Robyn even further. She insisted on knowing who the other wife was, when this happened, how long he'd kept it secret. But Kody did not say a word. Each passing second of silence was like another betrayal, another reminder that she wasn't as powerful as she had once been. For years, she had been the one in charge, the one he heeded, the one everyone blamed for the cracks in the family. But now she was just another woman left behind by his choices, the same destiny she had watched others suffer. And as tears streamed down her face, she said it, the phrase that would be shared in snippets throughout social media. "You guaranteed me I was the last. You told us we were finished with this life." Her voice cracked on the word, finished. She wasn't the manipulator, the villain, or the fan favorite in that moment. She was just human, heartbroken, befuddled, and angry. Producers looked at each other behind her. They knew this was not another fight. This was television gold, and the Brown family's greatest break yet. Because when the cameras continued to roll, Kody finally broke his silence. Mere 3 words that would alter everything. It wasn't personal. It wasn't personal. The words hung in the air like a knife cutting through all they had built. Robyn stood still, eyes open wide, lips quivering. For an instant, she said nothing at all. She simply gazed at him, hoping against hope to see some glimmer of humor, some sick joke. But Kody remained still. He meant it. Those words, so aloof and unfeeling, broke whatever illusion of oneness remained. "Not personal?" She finally lashed out. "You married another woman, Kody. You did it behind my back, behind everyone's back, and you call that not personal?" Her voice cut like a knife, full of hurt, incredulity, and years of seething anger. The tension was oppressive. Even the cameramen appeared to be holding their breath. Kody sighed as if he'd practiced this scene. "You wanted me to be happy," he whispered. "I couldn't keep going on like this, living on eggshells, justifying every action I take." His voice wasn't heated, but unsettlingly calm, as if he'd rationalized this betrayal as somehow necessary. You said you believed in plural marriage. You said this life was what you wanted. Robyn laughed bitterly, tears streaming down her face. You think this is plural marriage? This is faith dressed up as betrayal. You didn't do this for God or for love. You did it because you're mad that nobody else wanted you. The words cut deep. Kody's jaw clenched. For a fleeting moment, his facade cracked. Behind the camera, whispers began. Gossip among crew members, a producer cutting in to tell them to keep rolling. This was no longer an argument between family members. This was payback. Each decision, each rationalization, each facade was stripping away in the moment. Then Robyn spoke something that made everyone quiet. You've destroyed every woman who ever loved you. You crushed Christine's spirit, you humiliated Mary, and now you're crushing me. You call this faith? You call this love? You call this leadership? Kody didn't respond. He paced, eyes far away, the expression of a man trapped not by someone else, but by his own decisions. The camera came in close on Robyn, her eyelash swiped, her breath ragged. For once, she was not pretending. This was genuine heartbreak. And right when it felt like the moment had hit its emotional climax, Robyn breathed the only question no one was expecting. Who is she, Kody? He paused on his path. The room became silent. Even the producers did not have the guts to speak up. He glanced over his shoulder, a tiny smirk etched on his face, and declared, "You already know her." The second those words passed his lips, the whole set fell silent. Robyn's breath was stuck in her throat, her face pale. You know her. It was like hearing something she'd dreaded all along finally said aloud. What she saw in Kody's eyes wasn't guilt. It was satisfaction, as if he wished for her to ask. Her voice shook. Don't play games with me, Kody. Who is she? He didn't respond immediately. He edged forward one step, the air as thick as one could choke on with tension. The camera lights stuttered, and you could hear the quiet whine of the audio gear, the sort of silence that is almost as loud as shouting. Then he spoke. It's someone who still believes in what we started. Robyn's head shook, incredulity giving way to anger. Someone who still believes? You mean someone who doesn't know what you've done? Someone who doesn't know the lies, the manipulation, the destruction you've caused? She rose to her feet, shaking voice but growing louder, emotion spilling over. You don't love her, Kody. You love the version of you she allows you to pretend to be. The crew refused to budge. Each sentence she spoke cut deeper, and Kody's calm began to crack. You think I don't know what people say about us? He growled, his voice suddenly cold. You think I haven't heard how you turned everyone against me? Perhaps I needed someone who doesn't treat me like a mistake. Robyn's eyes filled with tears, but she didn't back down. You needed someone who worships you, she said softly, almost broken. Someone who hasn't seen the real you yet. That line cut deeper than any cry could. Kody's expression dropped, the anger seeping out of him as the gravity of her words stagnated the air. The two of them stood there, two individuals who once professed to be soulmates, now strangers confronting the ruin of their decisions. When finally the producer yelled, "Cut," no one budged. Robyn strode off stage, swiping at her tears, mumbling to herself, "He'll destroy her too." Kody remained frozen for a suspended moment, gazing into the space she'd occupied. Then, under his breath, speaking just loud enough for the microphones to barely pick up, he said, "At least she still believes." And in an instant, the cameras went dark, but the mayhem had merely started. Because if Robyn was correct, if this new bride did not yet have any idea who Kody truly was, then another heartbreak was already in the making, ready to play out on TV all over again. The morning after, the house was eerily still. The cameras came back early, hoping to capture whatever ensued. Robyn had not slept. Her eyes were puffy, her tone flat. The previous night had gone viral on all production servers prior to airing. All producers knew they had achieved something that would shift the tone of the whole series. Kody descended hours later, wearing an outfit suitable for an interview. He didn't glance at her, not even once. He walked like a man who had already concluded remorse was a sign of weakness. The silence between the two of them wasn't just uneasy, it was terminal. The type of silence that indicated something was irreparably fractured. Are you proud of yourself? Robyn asked, her voice cracking. You've made our family your own private war zone. Kody readjusted his jacket but remained silent. The camera trailed after him into the living room, where morning sunlight streamed through the blinds, etching cutting lines onto his face. He turned to her at last, his voice low but unyielding. "Do you think this is all about you?" "It isn't. I did what needed doing. You stopped believing in us before I did." That statement slapped her. "Believing?" she echoed, her voice breaking. "I was the only one who believed in you when everybody else left you behind." Kody let out a deep breath. "No, you believed in the concept of me, not me. The man you created in your imagination never existed." The room was quiet once more. Robyn stared at him for a long time. Not anger this time, but sadness. "Then I hope she prefers your version to me." That sentence would be the quote that was plastered across all the blogs and fan sites for weeks. "Then I hope she loves your version better than I did." It wasn't screamed. It wasn't overacted. It was soft, definitive, the kind of truth that doesn't require loudness to be heard. Kody glanced down, his jaw clenching, but there was nothing to say. He passed by her, out the door, into the morning light. The cameras went with him just long enough to get his final words to a producer. "Don't make me the villain. People never see what drives a man to change." As the door swung shut behind him, Robyn remained standing alone in the living room, motionless, quiet, bathed in the shadows of all that once was. The camera focused in on her as she spoke softly to herself. "He's not changing. He's just starting over again." And with that, the screen went black. But the tale wasn't finished. Not for Kody, not for Robyn, and not for the woman off camera. Set to enter the spotlight and take the title no one believed would ever again be. Kody Brown's new wife. The house remained silent long after Kody's footsteps had moved down the hallway. Robyn didn't weep this time. She simply gazed out the window at the sun rising over Flagstaff, the same horizon that once symbolized family, now mere emptiness. The cameras hung there, holding their breath for something. A response, a statement, a collapse. But she provided them with none, only a silent breath out. Then her phone vibrated. Once, twice. She reached for it instinctively, until she saw the name light up on the screen. Her face altered in an instant. Fear, confusion, incredulity. She answered it, her hand shaking. "Robyn," a voice spoke on the other end. "You need to see this before the others." "What is it?" she breathed. The voice paused. "The new wife. She's already speaking to producers." Robyn didn't budge for a second. Her heartbeat echoed in the silence. "That's impossible," she said, but even she wasn't sounding sure of it. "She's being interviewed," the voice went on. "And she's telling things. Things only you and Kody were meant to know." The phone fell from Robyn's hand and onto the ground. She stepped back, her breath caught in her throat. The cameras zoomed in, and they could see the horror in her eyes. "No," she breathed. She wouldn't. She couldn't have known that. The screen started to black out, but before it went to black, there was one last noise. The phone buzzing once more, the screen glowing with a text message. From unknown. "I told you, Robyn. It was never personal." The camera froze on her face. The same look she wore the night before. Only this time, it wasn't anger. It was fear. And as the screen faded completely, the words appeared in stark white against black. Next episode, the new wife speaks.